JDUB'S Unfiltered podcast, straight out of the brewery. I am BK. With me today is Jeremy JDUB Jorger.
Hello.
And Jillian.
Hello.
How's everybody doing today?
Good, man. Good.
Everybody hanging in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Fantastic. It is Monday, and nobody likes the Monday.
Monday fun day.
But Monday is always better when you have up top in your hand, which I assume you do right now.
I do right now, actually. It is definitely in my hand, and it's definitely going down my throat, and it's delicious. I forgot how much I enjoyed Up Top. It's been about 48 hours since I had one, and I'm loving every minute of it again.
Yeah, man. It's good beer. We dig it too.
So Jeremy came to me one day and said, hey, let's do a podcast. And I said, are you serious? He said, yes, I am extremely serious. One of these days, I'm just going to order stuff and it's going to show up and we're going to do a podcast.
All right, so let's just back up a little bit first, though, because before this whole podcast thing was, before I ever presented it to you, right, you worked here for like a year and a half.
Correct.
And how many times did we say, and we did say, probably, I don't know how many times we constantly would say and think what we're talking about right now would be hysterical for other people to listen to because it's usually off the wall and it's usually fun. And I think, at least we think, entertaining. So we've been talking about doing something, recording ourselves some way, somehow for a very long time. And then obviously, the reality TV guys didn't call me. So the podcast was just kind of the next logical conclusion, I think. But sorry to interrupt you, but there was a story before the whole podcast thing.
Well, that's true. That is very true. And on a whim, you asked me, said, hey, let's see if Jillian wants to do it. And if you don't know Jillian, everybody, she is Evan that works here in the brewery. She's dating Evan. They've been dating for a few years now, and she's a fun person. Yeah. She has a lot of good.
She's way out of Evan's league.
You said it. I didn't say it.
Am I allowed to say that?
I mean, you can say what you want to say. It's your show.
Well, it's unfiltered. It's unfiltered. It's
It
raw.
is unfiltered. It is unfiltered.
Hey, but I can can the shit out of beer. So
that is true.
Oh, she can't. That's right. Because Jillian does help us, or did help us can beer.
I'm not
back
just
when
a
we
girlfriend. I'm not just the girl.
Well, nobody
You are
ever
a
said you were
packaging
just a
assistant.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's a package
no one has ever said
assistant.
just anything around.
I help with the packaging around
Packaging
here.
assistant. Yes.
Yes, she does know how to package.
You did do a hell of a job with that.
Thank
by
you.
the way.
Thank you.
Hard worker.
So, but basically, we said, let's record whatever we want to and have a good time. And we are going to call this JDUB'S Unfiltered, as we already said.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a fun name, as I'm hitting the microphone because it's the first time, and I don't know how to use any of this crap yet. But, we'll get used to it. And
by the way, I'm going to compliment you right now because you figured out how to use all this stuff. We've talked about our addiction to Amazon. In a couple of late nights where I probably had one too many beers, I purchased way too much crap on Amazon, specifically this stuff. Just looking at average customer reviews and bargains, if you will. Like, ooh, this is 55% off, and 799 people say it's 4.7 out of 5 stars. So I got to buy this right now.
Absolutely, and if you order by 8 o'clock tonight, you'll get it tomorrow by 8 o'clock.
That's right. So so BK, so my hat. I'm not wearing a hat right now. But if I was, my hat would be off to you for figuring out how to use all this stuff. And it's just another way that you're invaluable to the company because I don't know how to. I'd call you and say, BK, help me. I don't know what I'm doing.
A random phone call one day like, hey, do you know where this is? I'm like, man, I haven't worked there in a month. No, I don't know where that is.
Hey, BK.
But check there. Yeah, it was there. Cool.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, man, but thanks for figuring it out.
You're so technical.
I am technically
So yeah,
awesome.
so like we're getting into why we started this thing, right? Like
yeah,
why did we
do a podcast? We talked a little bit about that already. We just wanted to talk about whatever we wanted to, and really let people know on how our twisted minds work.
Right, and that's a big part of it too. And another big part of it is that in this my position is a pretty public position. I'm constantly. Whether I want to be or not, it just is. I tend to be in the spotlight as the owner of a craft brewery, and obviously I have to be strategic and diplomatic about what I say, and I should be anyway. But a lot of times, there's more that's going on in my head or that I'm thinking that I want to say, but I don't for the right reasons. But so this was, like we talked about naming it JDUB'S Raw. Well, I mean that's pretty played out. We all know that, right? No offense to anyone that's probably using that term or is using that term, but. We wanted, we thought about JDUB'S Raw, but it's JDUB'S Unfiltered, and of course we get the beer reference there. But it gives me an opportunity to talk about things that I don't normally, might not say or wouldn't think about or and whatever that might entail, right? And of course, within reason, I say, like, you won't ever hear me talking badly about a brewery, because that's just not what I do. But I will say things that I think a lot of times, but don't say in that public spotlight that I'm kind of in. So that was a cool thing to do with it too, was for me to be able to kind of have a platform to say, from my unique perspective of a brewery owner in 2016, when there's more breweries than ever, craft breweries than ever before in America, to just shed a different sort of perspective on things, and from the inside, if you will, from the inside of this crazy storm that is the craft beer industry right now. So that was part of it too. Yeah,
it's fantastic. Some of the things that we're going to talk about during this podcast that we're going to be doing. For instance, we'll talk about what's happening here at JDUB'S every week. We're going to do the show on Mondays. We'll have it posted Monday evenings for everybody. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be going live, and we'll actually be able to do it live every Monday. The first couple, we want to make sure that we know what the hell we're doing before we get into that.
Which is what we're doing right now. Well, we did have one the other Saturday, and we figured out what we can't swear as much as we were.
Yeah.
Because, yes, we don't want to sound like potty mouth.
And try to focus back on the point.
Stay on track as much as this mind and your mind will possibly allow.
Absolutely. And, we'll talk about what's on tap, basically. JDUB'S, what's on tap. It's going to talk about what's happening at the brewery, maybe any events that you're going to be at around town or around the state of Florida with the upcoming week and weekend. Also, what's literally on tap here in the tap room, at least, what might be coming out this week. We'll also touch a little bit on beer news in general. So most of it will probably centrally or mostly focused on Florida, I'm guessing, or at least the southeast region.
Yeah.
Obviously, if there's big news stories about someplace out west or anywhere up north, that we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah. And another thing too, is hopefully that where we want to be with this is, and by next week, hopefully by next week we'll be to the point where we're able to do this, but. From the website, from JDUB'sBrewing.com, you'll be able to go to the media section, which is right at the top, and you'll see JDUB'S Unfiltered, and you'll be able to scroll down from there. And from that JDUB'S Unfiltered tab, you'll be able to get to everything. I mean, that's the hope. So you'll be able to listen to the live podcasts that we're doing there. You'll be able to get to the chat room that we're building right now for this, and hear previous sessions as well. So hopefully at JDUB'sBrewing.com, you'll be able to go there, kind of a one-stop shop, if you will, for people who want to listen to this show, listen to past episodes. So that's what we're doing with that. And then another really cool thing that I'm really excited about, with this is interviews. We're going to do interviews of industry people, especially down here in Florida. Now, I've got buds who are in the industry outside of this state, but I want to have interviews of some of those guys who are outside of the state, whom I know, or whom I all of them I look up to, but who we respect. And and I've said it before. Like, I think you've heard me say many times, or at least I hope you have, because I feel like I've said it a lot over the short 2 years that we've been in existence. But I'm nothing more than a glorified beer enthusiast. I'm a glorified craft beer enthusiast. I talk about I'm from Northern California, right? So I grew up with a lot of famous people just kind of around, whether you knew them or not. There were famous people. That's just part of growing up in California.
But you weren't famous.
No, I was definitely
infamous,
not.
maybe.
Not
yes,
then.
well, infamous, but only very small circles. But but that's neither here nor there. And it was a long time ago. You can't prove nothing. No, but so the point was I've never been a guy to get starstruck. Right now, take me to the first time I met Charlie Papazian. Mushmouth. Take me the first time I met Sam Calgione. So the point is that I own a brewery now, and that's cool, and that's that's fun. It is what it is, and we're that's what I do now is a vocation. I'm blessed to do what I love, but I'm still a craft beer enthusiast, right? Like, these guys are my rock stars. So
absolutely, those guys have been a part of this industry for a long time now. Look at Charlie. I mean, he is the godfather of homebrewing, if you want to look at it that way. And Sam, I mean, obviously we all know what he's done with starting Dogfish Head and growing into the ginormous company that he's already, being a part of now, and what they've grown into. It's a wonderful thing. And, I can understand where you would be at coming, from a guy with a notepad and a dream, basically walking up and talking to these guys and meeting these gentlemen. And I use gentlemen loosely with both of them. Charlie is definitely a gentleman.
Charlie's great, man.
He's a wonderful guy. I remember when he came down here to the brewery last year, and he was shaking hands and drinking beers, and he was just all around just a good dude. It was nice to pick his brain for a few and talk to him about stuff. Some other stuff, I love that we're going to talk about other things. Obviously we'll have our parts of our episodes where we talk about kind of whatever the hell we want to.
Right.
We all got stuff that picks at us. We all have stuff that we don't like for whatever reason. And so we'll touch on some of that kind of stuff, whatever's grinding our gears or, taking the wind out of our sails. And, we'll also have some fun stuff, kind of like drunk news, especially if it's local here in Florida. We know that there's plenty. There's always somebody
something
here
to report around here.
Yeah.
Exactly. some dude out in the middle of the state decided to jump his car. Wow, there's something happening right now.
I couldn't help it.
I'm going to take your computer away, Tim. This is why we don't have nice things.
Random music.
That's why we don't have nice things.
I couldn't help it. I like Tom Jones, man. He just does it
Hey,
for me.
I like Tom Jones too, but next thing you know, the FCC is going to be like, that's some copyright
that was
stuff
actually, I
happening.
actually just played that on my keyboard. I came up with it myself.
Oh, that's
And
great.
and
I liked it.
actually
It
my
reminded me.
alias is Tom Jones.
It reminded me
We're playing
as
live music here.
So another thing we'll talk about is maybe some, like I said, the drunk news, and then just whatever. If we got time left, we'll talk about whatever we want to.
Yeah, let's
Hopefully
say
future-
beer industry news, because I really don't want to get into the whole drunkenness thing. But
Absolutely, yeah.
beer industry news, beer news.
And there'll be that. But there's always news stories of, hey, somebody got arrested for driving their car through 7-Eleven because they had a 6-pack prior to showing up. So just kind of fun news stories. But let's get back on topic and kind of talk about what's happening here at JDUB'S. I know in the past, we're going into your 3rd year now. You just celebrated your 2-year anniversary, and which is a wonderful thing, and fantastic to be a part of it as long as I have been, and still being a part of it in other ways as this right now. Let's talk about your core beers. Obviously, everybody out there has probably already had Up Top IPA. They've already had the Poolside Kolsch, which is a phenomenal beer, especially going into the springtime now and into summer.
Right.
But you have a couple new ones that you just released, and one of them you're already canning. I know another one you're looking to can here pretty soon. Let us know about the Passion Wheat. What's that all about?
All right. So, Passion Wheat. So where do we get that idea from? So, obviously, BK, because you worked here for a long time. You know me, and one of the things I'm always talking about to whomever wants to listen, particularly those who are stuck with me, from 9 to 5, whatever time you're here at JDUB'S. Following our own muse, following our own lead, not doing what other people are doing, is extremely important to me as a person, to JDUB'S as a business. So that's extremely important for me, etc. And the guys here at JDUB'S, in particular. So, but then you go, okay, so you got a fruit flavored wheat beer. So yeah, obviously, how do we apply that to our core brands, right? Because I talk about in craft beer, I talk about there's 3 different segments, right? So you got the craft, casual, right? And that's the biggest group. And I like to say that you appeal to the craft casual if your beer is simply good, right? And that's the litmus test. If it's good beer, you're going to get the craft casual guys. Then there's the craft centric, and the craft centric is the smallest group, but they bang the loudest drum. These are your beer geeks, if you will. These are your guys drinking. They're really hard to find beers, and whatever group our assistant tap manager Taylor's in, that whatever super craft beer geek chat room or whatever it is, Facebook thing that they belong to. That's your craft centric group, right? And those are the hard ones to get. They're the smallest category, but they bang the loudest drum. So these guys, they're the ones who are Catador members at CCB or Mud Club members here. But these are the guys who are they're the know-it-alls, if you will. Good, bad, or indifferent. These are the know-it-alls of the craft beer industry. And then you've got the emerging craft, right? And so the emerging craft is the guys who are going to be craft beer drinkers. So these are the people who are drinking